Hello everyone, we are here at Dachau, first concentration camp. We just went on a two and a half hour tour. Tour guide knew a lot of stuff. It was just really interesting, really sad. Obviously we saw gas chambers, where the people lived, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, it was a great experience, but it was very sobering at the same time.
It was called the Jour House. It was also an administration building for paperwork. This is where they kept records of a few prisoners. On the first floor, this is where they slept.
Hey, I'm Anthony, and one of the things I thought that was really surprising about this place is just that it was huge, and we only saw a very small part of it. So that, and then just being in some of the places, you get just a weird, eerie feeling, which was really crazy too. So those are the two things I noticed.
Initially, Dachau was a camp for men, Bergen Belsen, and we talked about some of the ones in the eastern countries. All the ones with black squares are concentration camps. From 33 to 36, Hitler is in the phase of consolidating his Poles, and then the camp was destroyed to leave no evidence. It was destroyed by the Nazis when they finished it. You also have Sobibor, Belzec, Kulmhof, Mali-Trosnes, altogether about 8 extermination camps. And but something you might be aware of, but if you look at them, they're all in the eastern countries. There's none of them 6,000 people. Their origins, their nationalities, how many prisoners from the Soviet Union, Spain, Turkey, etc. And here you've also got the number of entries each year. So 1933, 4,821 people deported, how many entries in 37 and 41 and so on. If you look at the entries, do you notice anything?
Hi, I'm Jessie. I just thought it was really interesting to actually experience what happened. I've been to a Holocaust museum in Washington D.C., but this was different because this is where it actually happened. I thought it was really interesting to see the process of how they were brought into the camp and the check-in process and how they lost their identity and stuff like that. So it was interesting to learn.
Do they give privileges to people from different locations geographically?
Yeah, I mean, Germans would generally be better treated than Poles. Prisoners make it clear that the only ones having total power and life.
So the really cool part I thought, that was really cool, was that they have a remembrance place for each religion that was there. And the part that really got to me was the gas chambers, because you hear so much about it in history and all the gas chambers and all of that. And then actually the stand-in one was insane. It was just, got to me. But yeah, it was really cool. A really neat experience to be in Dachau.
Where we know a few things, we suppose that it might have been used for medical experiments. We have no concrete evidence, and we also don't know whether it was ever used according to this mass extermination principle, like in Birkenau and Treblinka and so on. So this roughly how the place was supposed to operate. The prisoners to be gassed would wait in these two chambers here, corresponds to the windows. Second room here, you still see the metal gate with the inscription Brausebad. It's an old German word for shower, which is not used anymore nowadays as a form of respect. And the gas chamber was disguised as a shower room to avoid panic among the prisoners. The gas chamber is the following section. If you take a look inside, there are still shower heads, but they're fake. They're not linked to any kind of water supply. And at some point they would introduce capsules of a gas called cyclin B, which was initially a pesticide, where here it would have been introduced in the two metal hatches, which you see there. See them? So they would have closed the hatches, the capsules would have fallen on the floor, and then they would start pumping hot air into the gas chamber. The combination leads to a chemical reaction, and you suffocate within 2 to 5 minutes. It depends on air humidity, how many people, and so on. Then they would have let the gas escape through the vents, which would have taken about another 10 minutes. They could have opened the gas chamber on the other side, and they had two the so-called death chambers where to store the bodies, and from there the bodies would be taken to the new crematorium or to the old one. Well, we don't know about the gas chamber, but we know that the crematorium here was used, and they used to shovel the ashes in two pits, which are just behind the trees there, and they've been turned into symbolic mass graves after the war. You can still see them if you want to take a few minutes. And where the first section are disinfection rooms, where the uniforms would be disinfected and then given to new prisoners. So, three rooms right there. And
Here at Dachau, and definitely was a chilling experience. It was good to see everything. Never would have thought it would affect me the way it did, but the thing that I found most powerful was the incinerators where they used to burn the bodies, and also just the small confinements of the rooms they used to stay in. It was just intense to see how many people would stay in one small space.
Hi, I'm Joe. It was an amazing experience. I was very disheartened, even angered at times, to really see the horrible tragedy that happened here. The biggest thing that I saw was actually not really the elimination of the Jewish, but the Russian army and the Soviet army that was terminated by pistol range, and we got to see the wall where it happened, and there was a ditch that was called the Blood Ditch, and where thousands and thousands of people lost their life to the Nazi regime, and just to be here in this place to see that was very eye-opening, and makes you think twice before you make a joke about the Jewish or the Holocaust or the Nazis even. So it's very eye-opening.